What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Check it out, this is the Nazgul 5 6S edition. We're going to fly it today. We're going to put it through its test. We're going to do some durability tests. We're going to do some punch outs, some line of sight. We're going to test it on two different batteries today. I've got a 1050 here for you. This is the Tattu R-Line 1050 6S. Look how small those cells are, isn't that crazy? And I have some new 850s from GNB to try out. Those are super fat little packs, but these will still get you about 3 minutes flight time, which is actually pretty crazy for an 850 milliamp battery. And you'll get close to 4 minutes on the 1050 if you're just doing regular flying. If you're doing freestyle or extreme punch outs and things like that, you're probably going to get about 3 minutes with a 1050. So I'm going to rage it on this pack. We're going to do some full throttle punch outs, and we'll see how the 6S Nazgul holds up against the 4S version. I am a huge fan of 6S, and that's generally what I like to fly. This is probably my preferred quad of the two. We're on to the hot rod of the Nazgul series. So Nazgul 5 6S, let's just go fly. After that, we'll do a spec check. If you guys still want to check that out, you can check out the specs on this one. They are different from the 4S version, so stay tuned. I'll see you after the flight test. All right, Nazgul. iFlight Nazgul 6S flight test. Line of sight, here we go, punch out.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah, that thing's got punch. The 4S version did amazing, so it's gone. Good thing I can see where the battery is on top of the quad. Super smooth. Already did my flight test and the thing flew great. This is just one of those days where everything I didn't have any problems today, and it was great because I flew the 4S version all day today and the 6S version and had no problems. The motors are nice and efficient. On the 6S version, you're gonna get about 3 minutes flight time with this, you guys. And the new props that they've designed on here as well are super thin cord. They're 5140s. So they're gonna be really smooth, fast, and efficient. That's what you guys want. A little longer flight time. I'm running a 1050 today, also running the 850s by GNB. Testing out that XT30 today as well for the converter down to up to XT60. The quad itself has an XT60 on board, so it's looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and put it down, you guys. Let's go ahead and goggle up. Here we go. Nazgul 6S version. FPV flight test. Let's do it. All right, let's go ahead and do the FPV flight test. Nazgul 5 6S edition. Look at that punch out right there. That is the punch out you can expect. And right now I'm running that Tattu R-Line 4S 1050 6S battery on board. It's around 100 C, I believe, so it is a pretty good C rating on this battery. The awesome thing is that you can get around 4 minute flight time with the 1050. If you're just flying like a normal person, you can expect maybe even about 4.5 to 5 minutes. If you're just cruising and enjoying the view. If you're ripping, doing some freestyle, you can expect 3.5 minutes to 4 minutes if you're really punching on it with a brand new battery. But I like how this feels. The tune feels really good. The yaw snap is nice coming around the end of that long runway to the end of that pole right there and back over the field. Just a quick little freestyle maneuver over the fence, and I already have 100 feet of elevation. It's pretty crazy how fast this quad gets way up in the air. And one of the things I have to let you know about 6S is that if you're gonna do big maneuvers like this, like a big power loop over trees, things like that are so much easier on 6S. You just have that extra punch that you're looking for that the 4S quad doesn't really have. It doesn't carry its own weight as easily. Now let's go back under the trees here. Just for a run through here, just to see how much control I have through the trees. And absolutely no jello in this tune. Again, this one does appear to have some sort of horizontal lines in the VTX there. I showed those in the last video. The 6S version has kind of the same thing going on. You can alleviate that with an LC filter. Right there, I kissed my bro's plane. You could actually hear it tap the front of that milk jug plastic fuselage from Voluntex. I believe this was the Voluntex RC Ranger 2000 that I've reviewed on the channel. He has his own version here. Very nice indestructible, almost indestructible long-range type glider plane. You could put a flight controller in this one. Super nice. But today we're not talking about the plane. I appreciate my buddy Tom for flying it. Let me do a little chase and tap the nose for him. It's all about the 6S today, and I really had to throttle back. I don't know if you've ever flown behind an RC airplane or a glider before, but they make subtle, abrupt changes in elevation, and they turn pretty quick. And they can kind of leave you hanging as flying behind it as a quad, unless the person's going super straight. But today it was pretty windy, so we're both kind of bouncing around up here and slingshotting downwind. And I gotta say, you know, I figured there would be a difference in the tune on both of these quads. The 4S version, I'm doing a little victory orbit here around my bro. We're coordinating together. Thanks for that, Tom. That was a lot of fun. But the tune is exactly the same on the 4S version and the 6S version, so strange to me that they're both exactly the same. It seems like they would have needed different profiles for each of these 4S and 6S setups, but they both fly really well on the stock tune. So I'm going to show you those coming up.
I saw you circling around me while I get my airplane.
Alright, so let's look at the Nazgul 6S version on the bench. Plenty of truck bed for your battery on the back. You've got that Doom antenna, TPU mount, and the optional TPU mount for your GoPro as well. We have a 227mm wheelbase on here from side to side. All the TPU trimmings as well, just like on the 4S version. And for the motors, we have the Zing motors. The 6S version has 2207, 1800 kV motors, but the website says there's 1700, so you might want to take note of that. Mine does have 1800. Here's a look at that GoPro mount again. It fits the Hero 7 Black. There's also an alternate lens filter, which is nice, and a lens protector comes in the Bind and Fly kit, which I love. It's a non-adjustable tilt for the camera, but you could prop it up. 5mm arms, just like the 4S version, which is nice. Replaceable as well, which is really, really extra nice in case you break one. The iFlight Doom antenna on the back right here, super nice with this little TPU mounted print that they have on there. It makes it so easy to get on and off. I haven't seen this before and I really like it. TPU RX and antenna mount back here keeps everything safe. We have the Sussex EF4 flight controller with Betaflight F4 on board. 45 amp ESCs, the same exact setup as we had before on the other one. And the Force 600 milliwatt VTX with Smart Audio MMCX connector. We've got a mic over here and a push button in case you need to press it manually. We also have the Cadex Ratel camera on here, 1200 TVL Starlight HDR sensor, and 8 milliseconds ultra low latency, adjustable points, and interior TPU sidewalls for dampening. This is really, really nice right here. It does help with the tune a lot. Takes out any jello that you might have seen in this camera otherwise. And today we're testing out the Nazgul props. Those are 5140s, super ultra narrow cord on these props. And by cord, I mean the thickness in the center. Super nice tips and low pitch. Low pitch is going to give us a more efficient prop setup. This is going to get you a little longer flight time on something like a 6S battery or a high-powered setup. So let's go ahead into Betaflight real quick. Let me show you first the 4S edition. And let me zoom in here and show you the PIDs in case you want to copy these over to your machine. What's interesting here is also we have Betaflight F4 on here as the firmware. It is Betaflight 4.0.4, and let me show you the other quad, and their PIDs are exactly the same on both of these, so they didn't change a thing from the tune from the 4S version to the 6S version, so something to be aware of there. Alright guys, welcome back from the flight test and the spec check. So we went over this quad and it still has 2207 motors on here, 1800 kV. As long as you're running 6S, I always tell people to go below 2000 kV. Some people are doing their own 6S builds, and if you're thinking about getting an XL5 frame and doing a crazy beastie 6S build for your first one of your first builds, not your first build ever, of course, maybe start on 4S and work your way up to 6S. But if you decide to build a 6S rig, if you haven't flown 6S, you got to try it, because it is like a night and day difference. It's as crazy as going from like the original 3S batteries and going up to 4. There was such a huge step in the power difference in our quads back in 2014 when we started moving up to the 4S rigs, and also going up to 2205 motors. 2205 was the hot trend for a while, and 2206, and then 2207, and now we have 2306, and there's just 2308. It's crazy. So we just keep getting more power, but eventually there has to be some point where this stuff levels out, but it seems to be getting more powerful all the time, which is kind of wild. So this is a quad that obviously you're not going to fly around any local parks or things like that, because this thing is a 100-mile-an-hour Tomahawk. So be careful with your 6S rig. You got a lot of momentum running behind these quads. They are very fast and very dangerous, but not for the new guys. So new guys, start out on 3 and 4S, work your way up to this beast after you've been flying for a while and you understand what you're doing. But I have to say, I love the performance of this quad. The bed on here is great for even the largest 6S batteries. This strap will actually hold up to about a 1300 6S on here, and the XT60 I believe was a wise choice. I also converted it down to accept this XT30 on the back. So with a converter, I tested out the 850, and the good news is that with all the voltage that this is pushing, all the amps that it's drawing out of this battery, this connector survived this setup. So I gotta say thumbs up to GMB for making this battery work even on a 5S setup with super beastie motors. So I mentioned before that these would probably work okay on the micro brushless, but I wasn't so sure about these yet because I haven't tried it yet. And most people haven't tried a 6S 850 because there's just not a lot of them out there. So for you guys that are know-it-alls out there about the connectors and things like that, there you go. I've done the testing and it works. So pat yourself on the back. You are right. So anyway, guys, I'm going to rate this one at about 5.0 out of 5.0. Again, we have another banger here. This is one that you can buy. It is as good as something like the Emax Hawk, but a 2019 version on 6S. The tune is awesome durability wise. It survived all the slam dunks that I did to it, and at the end of the day I still have a quad that works. I need to put new props on it, but other than that, it's absolutely rock and roll. It's a 5-star quad. But thanks again, guys, for watching. I'm Justin Davis. Take care. Please do subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. The Nazgul series, just total home run from iFlight. See you on the next one.